What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Brett Astaire. Tyler is having technical issues. Hopefully, he will be able to join us really soon. If not, I'll just go ahead and knock this out on my own. And I didn't get a chance to kind of toot my own horn, as he had been getting the better of me. But I had the Titans last night. Was thinking they were going to cover. I did not think they were going to win that game. I thought Buffalo was going to drive down at the end of that game and score, and I was still going to get the cover, and I was still going to pat myself on the back. But boy, that kind of changes the pace of the AFC there with the Bills and the Chargers falling. Now, the way the Chargers lost is a lot different than the way that the Bills lost. Like, I don't know if you downgrade the Bills at all off that loss. I thought the Titans played really well, and Derrick Henry, he reminds me of Steph Curry just in the way that he can completely take over a game at any time. And you just never know when it's going to be. And then even on the games that he doesn't take over, he's still pretty good, right? But you just never know. And it just felt like one of those performances last night where having the Titans ticket, I felt good that guy was on my side, right? It just felt like he was the best player on the field. And of course, you can't be a good running back without the blocking. So you never want to discredit the offensive line when a running back has a great game. But having Derrick Henry on my side made me feel really good about that ticket. Didn't want to downgrade Buffalo. And then another thing that I thought of when we're comparing the Buffalo and the Chargers, because if you remember going back to our recap last week, those were the teams we had as the top teams in the AFC. Then they both lose during week 6. So, we're reevaluating these teams we're constantly putting on. But you know what? I downgraded the Chargers less today after re-looking at some of that, the game last night. You know what? With the Chargers, they go for it a lot on fourth down in almost any situation. I think that's going to lead them to be a high variance team. So, as a result, there are going to be games where they just look terrible, like they did on Sunday. And so, when we're looking at the Chargers that way and evaluating them, we're just going to have to remember that they're going to be a really high variance team because of how aggressive they are on the fourth downs, especially in their own territory, which can be huge point swings. Huge point swings. And we're actually getting to the point where some of these aggressive calls, I'm always go for it. I'm always a go for it guy. Even on last Thursday's live show, Jay and I disagreed on whether or not it was a situation where they should go for it. But it almost seems like we're overcorrecting now, right? When you steering wheel too much, overcorrecting here on the aggressiveness for the fourth down. Like, yes, you should never punt, on your opponent's 40, right? Because most likely you're only getting a 20-yard net gain. But some of these in our own territory getting a little too aggressive. Are they? Are they not? Not sure. Thinking that they are, but also just noting for gambling perspectives, that's really going to make our results so much more variant. Because in the old days, they would just kick there, whereas now they're going for it. They're saying we're either going to score, but if we don't, the other team's going to score for sure when you give it up in your own territory like that. So something to keep in mind for the Chargers going forward, and it actually caused me to rethink, a slight downgrade on them. I think that was just a terrible letdown spot. And, like I said, I didn't really calculate how much him being aggressive on fourth down was going to have variance in his results. So that being said, it was a great game last night. Especially for me, backing the Titans helped me get back to positive for a week, pushed me to 4-3. So pretty happy about that. Waking up, seeing all the extra money in the account. Oh, just a story that you guys don't care about. Thought I would have a lot of money in my account as I bet Ekaterina Alexandrova to defeat Ons Jabeur. Love the situation, love the call, love the read, and Jabeur retires in the second set, and at bookmaker they void on retirement. So just complaining a little there, but let's get back to NFL football. The first game that we'll talk about is the Denver Broncos heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. So both teams had a really tough loss on Sunday. Both teams I thought were beaten fairly handily. I don't think even the the final score of that Raiders-Broncos game really reflected how much the Raiders dominated the Denver Broncos. So a great bounce back for my team, the Raiders. Now they're going against the Browns team that is just befuddled by injuries. They had 20 names on their injury report today, guys. 20 names on the injury report. Let's go over some of the notable ones. They have both left tackle and right tackle missing. We know how huge that is. Even if we don't know their names, you never want it. Well, I do know their names. It's Tristan Wirfs and not Bentonio, but regardless, you don't want to be missing. You're starting left and right tackles, right? And then you look at this team that we said had the best running back core in the NFL. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb both out. And I really thought that Nick Chubb took away all the personality from that offense. I Kareem Hunt is great, but when you're looking at him as your number one back, because everyone's saying, oh, he could be a number one back, and he can. But the personality of Chubb getting in there and then beating you up, and then Kareem Hunt kind of putting that knockout blow in there with his speed, quickness, shiftiness, ability to create on third down through passes. Thank you, Josh. Jedrick Willis, not Tristan Wirfs. Thank you, Josh. It's been a busy day, Josh. I've been doing NBA all morning, too. I'm really frantic today, but we're having a lot of fun breaking down these games. What I was saying with Denver and Cleveland, though, is with Nick Chubb not in the game, I think the personality of the Cleveland offense really loses it. We talked before about Jarvis Landry not being there. I think that his route running style fits Baker Mayfield a lot more than Odell Beckham. And also, Odell Beckham, even when he does get open, he's not catching the ball. 2 fourth down drops now in 2 weeks in a row. So that's got to be really tough when you're claiming you're a wide receiver of the caliber that he claims that he is, and you're paying the guy that money. You got to make those fourth down catches. Baker put it right in there. I'm all down to slander Baker, but that was on OBJ. Baker delivered the ball, and that's twice that he really really made his quarterback look bad. So this is a tough game to get involved with. So I will be glad that I'll be hanging out on the live show and not trying to bet this pregame. Right now, I lean the Broncos because I just worry about this Cleveland Browns team that's just so beat up. And I think that the Broncos really just caught a Raiders team that was ready to go. I think they were pretty excited to, move on from the John Gruden era. The new guy, seems to be working well with the teammates. And I think the Broncos just kind of caught that juggernaut. Now I think their defense is going to look a lot better because I don't believe that Cleveland has the over-the-top potential, even though I think Beckham can beat these guys. Can Baker even get it there? And then when Beckham's running Baker's routes, the short underneath routes, is he still going to catch it? No, he's a better explosive play guy. He's not the Jarvis Landry, 10 catches, your 3rd and 7, right? Your Hunter Renfrow go-to target type of guy, Julian Edelman, right? That's not what Odell Beckham is. So right now I lean the Broncos, but I'm happy to stay away from this. The total's 42, total of 42. Right now, I like to go over on these low totals. I used to like going under on them. But with two defenses like this, where you do have the turnover potential, now Bridgewater does protect the ball pretty well, and actually Baker's pretty good this season at protecting the ball too. But just one turnover from these playmaking defensive stars, even a strip sack, it doesn't have to be an interception, and you might go over there. So right now, I lean the Broncos, lean towards the over, but I'll be jumping in this on the live show. Doubt I'll have a pregame total in there. So no London this week. So don't have to get up at 6:30 a.m. to watch some football. And let's try and see if Comcast has Tyler hooked up. Welcome to the show, Tyler. We were just talking. I was just talking about the Broncos and the Browns. Browns -3 here. I was saying that I lean towards the Broncos just because of the 20 people on the injury report for the Browns. What were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I can't bet it with all the guys on the Browns injury report.
Right.
Baker's hurt. Both the running backs are hurt. Odell's now hurt. There's guys on the defense that are out. They lost the stud rookie linebacker. So yeah. I think it's Denver, no play here.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll be chilling with Jay that night on the show. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Do I sound fine?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. And the video's back to HD. Cool. It doesn't look like I'm watching 2002 YouTube. Like when we were in our prep. So glad to have you back. And you know what? This is the perfect time because I was thinking that was the one thing that I was missing. I can do all the rundown on the sides and totals, but I'm not going to try and do the props like you do, man. I mean, that's just like, can you imagine like you were chilling at the park or something, and a guy just goes up and dunks like Jordan, and then it's your turn to
You're
go?
like, I got that. You can't
You're
even
like,
get the
no, I'm
layup
not
in.
going after him, right? I'm not going after him, like someone else. So, anyways, I'm not trying to step on your toes. What props did you have circled for this game? Did you have a chance to look? And is there anything that's jumping out to you early on the Thursday night football game?
I mean, I don't see many posted yet. I
I
see
figured
a
with the
few.
Browns, right?
Yeah,
Broncos side, maybe we'll have some.
I don't see any Browns yet.
Right. That makes sense.
There
We
are
don't
some
even know if
Broncos ones.
Baker's
One
going to
that sticks
play.
out to me is Javonte Will.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he's going to play.
Okay.
But the one that sticks out to me is Javonte Williams over 2.5 receptions.
I knew you were going to go there. When you said Williams, I knew it wasn't going to be a rushing because um, the only thing I don't like about that, well, not the only thing, but one thing I don't like about their offense, it seems pretty obvious when they're going to run, and when he's in there, it's more likely to be a passing play, right?
Yeah.
So.
Plus, I mean, he's gotten 3 catches in his last 3 games.
Uh-huh.
The Browns have given up at least 4 targets to running backs in every game this year.
Mm-hmm.
The only 2 games they didn't get the catches over 3 was when they played Chicago, and they just dominated them. And what Chicago ended up with like 30 yards on offense.
Yeah.
Montgomery had
was that the 1 yard
on
passing
targets.
game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the game against Minnesota where their defense showed out again, and Dalvin Cook had 2 catches on 6 targets. But other than that, they've given up those 3 catches to running backs in every game. So give me that prop at plus 135.
And it's funny, you say they're vulnerable to the running backs. You know what I hear when you say that? That means they got a good secondary, right? Because that means the opponent's making the reads. And wait, I don't got anyone open here. Let me dump it off, get 3 or 4 yards, and give my guys another chance. But when you're giving up a lot to the running backs, that tells me that your safeties and your cornerbacks are doing the job. So that's one there. We both lean the Broncos, but you're with me, right? Let's just bet this one live. We'll hang out on
I think
the show.
you just bet it live. You can't do it now because I mean, unless you're taking the Broncos, but I can see Baker maybe.
I think we're losing Tyler again. Tyler, we might have to have you reset, and I'll jump in, and I will. I'll go ahead and try and reset real quick. All right, Tyler, and let me start up this next game, and we'll see if we can get Tyler back in here. He's obviously having internet problems, but hopefully he'll be back before 3:30 on the upcoming NBA rundown. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals catching 6.5 against the Baltimore Ravens, who looked absolutely fantastic. And that was one that I was surprised about, right? I thought the Chargers had a good chance to stamp themselves as the top team in the AFC, and the Ravens said no, no, no. And you take out that first game, and these Ravens have looked pretty good, even with some of the loss of Marcus Peters and some of these other guys here. So, it's funny. I've been down on Cincinnati all year. I also think that Cincinnati's been beaten up on some bad teams and taking advantage of some good situations here. We've always talked about the Ravens being bullies. They were able to bully the Chargers. I believe they bullied the Bengals as well. I think this team is finally catching their stride. I'm going to go ahead and lay the 6.5. And we talk about so this will be interesting because it looks like the Bengals are catching money. So, this is where I wish I had Tyler, and I'd love to talk about whether or not we should wait or get in now. From the way that it's juiced, I'm going offshore. I have Bookmaker pulled up right now. Minus 103 on the Ravens, minus 113 on the Bengals. Maybe you can get down to a plus 6, and I like that so much more to get a push on 6 rather than a loss there. So maybe I'll be waiting on this game, but I definitely like the Baltimore Ravens. The total's 47. I think that's a pretty good number. I think that's a pretty good number on the total. So I'm not going to get involved in there. I'm going to jump on the Ravens, but I'm going to wait because I think that with the Bengals being 4-2, covering, I think they're 5-1 against the spread here. So we have to think that the Bengals take a little money. Plus, you got to remember, early in the week is when the underdogs take the money. And I see this open at 6, so they can move it back there pretty easily. And I was wrong. The Bengals are 3-3. No, they're not 3-3. I'll pull. I got to pull up the spread numbers later because it says they're 3-3 against the spread. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Unbelievable. I thought that they were better against the spread than that. My bad on that one. Let's go to the Carolina Panthers, -3 to the New York Giants. We talked about the injuries in the Browns. The Browns have more, but the Giants might be more severe to their skill players with Galladay and Saquon Barkley being out. This was already a very tough offensive line there, and the defense hasn't been playing as well as last year. Now you got the Panthers laying 3 on the road. That's kind of tough too, right? Sam Darnold definitely regressed. The first 3 games, I was really excited. I liked him coming out of USC. I was hoping a Pac-12 quarterback would do well. But those issues controlling the football, not turning over, not protecting the ball, have come to light again with the fumbles and the interceptions. And maybe this is a time for the Giants to get involved here. +3 at home is usually pretty attractive, and it looks like the money's coming in towards the Giants as they're also juiced to -113. Maybe this goes down to 2.5. If you like the Panthers, wait. If you like the Giants, maybe jump in right now, although there might be a little payback on game day. Not sure, though. The Panthers are another team that, I talked about Nick Chubb being their identity. They really need McCaffrey to help Darnold out because I think he's too aggressive without him there. I think with McCaffrey there, it's easy for him to make the smart decision, the check down, and, of course, McCaffrey has the explosiveness to turn it into a big play. Without him, it becomes more of a standard offense, and that's where Sam Darnold's flaws, inefficiencies, and being turnover prone really come to light here. So, it's tough to take the Giants right now. My initial lean is towards the Panthers, but laying 3 on the road with all these better spots that we can find, I'm fine just completely staying off this game for right now. Also, like I said, I think the money is coming on the Giants. So since I do lean the Panthers, there is a chance that I can get a better number by waiting. But most likely, I don't think I'm going to have a wager on this game. The total's 43 there. I could see this one going under as I could see both teams really trying to run the ball, and I can see there being a lot less plays than some of these other games handling. So I do like the under in this one. The Washington football team is catching 9.5 in Green Bay. So here's the tough thing about laying points with Green Bay. Sometimes they just kind of sleepwalk. Like they are the most like NBA style team. And I think that's probably because Aaron Rodgers kind of feels like an NBA star to me, the way that he treats the game, his teammates, and his organization. Great to his teammates, rough to his organization. That's what I mean by that, right? Teammates love him. Front office, not sure. I'm not really sure if they're going to really put it on him or they're just going to cruise to a victory. They were able to beat the Chicago Bears by 10 and get that cover. And it just felt easy, and it just felt like they were cruising. They're not sleepwalking, but just doing what needs to be done, and not necessarily pedal to the metal. And that's what you need when you're covering a spread of 9.5. The flip side is the Washington secondary is so bad, and Rodgers obviously is not going to get flustered by a pass rush like some of these younger quarterbacks were, because all the Washington really has going for them right now on defense is that front four. They win their pass block rates. They were second in the league going into last week. I didn't see the upgraded rankings, but they win at pass block. But they're terrible in coverage in the linebackers in the secondary. So the argument you can make is even sleepwalking, right? This team might still cover this 9.5 point spread. I usually don't like getting involved in these big spreads. So I mean, against the spread, Packers are 5-1 so far. We know that one was pretty bad that first game, but since losing to the Saints, they have covered every single game. And then of course, Washington 1-5 against the spread as they in their win against the Giants. I don't think they covered that 2.5 because they won by 1 point. So. I'm not getting involved in this game. The total's 49. Let's try this again. Take 3. Tyler.
All right, spread. Hold on. If this one doesn't work, I might actually kill the Comcast guy when he gets here. I'm hardwired into the router now. So if it shits the bed, I'm just done.
All right. Well, let's just kill him with kindness, okay, Tyler? Because we need to get this fixed. All right. Because I need you for the NBA rundown here. All right. I don't want you pending charges. Twatty over there bailing you out with some girl he met 15 minutes beforehand. I mean, can you imagine that? So you're getting a ride home with just some young lady that Twatty met at the bar because he's too drunk to drive, but he had to go bail you out. So we don't want that situation, Tyler. And I mean, you can give your thoughts on all of them real quick. Why don't you go ahead and jump back to the Bengals and the Ravens? I said I wanted to lay it with the Ravens because I don't care, dude. I'm not going to get off this fade the Bengals bandwagon. I think they've beat some crappy teams. Let's see what they do against a really good team. What do you think about me laying it with the Ravens?
Yeah, I don't hate that. I probably won't have a dog in that fight
Mm-hmm.
because I just think it could go either way.
Yeah.
But if you had to pin me down, yeah, give me the Ravens here.
All
Give
right.
me the
And
team that showed us they're a real deal over the last few years. And I mean, Cincinnati's offense is legit, but
yeah.
that defense is ranked top 5, but we're still not sure they're like actually like a real unit. This could just be like lightning in a bottle for them.
Yeah, I agree. Let me go over the results for Cincinnati real quick. They lost to Green Bay. I'd say that's probably their best performance. They beat Jacksonville. They beat Pittsburgh, which actually is looking better now. They lost to Chicago, which doesn't look good. They beat Minnesota, which actually looks a little better now. But if you watch the game, they probably should have lost it. And then they put up a good performance against Detroit. But we talked about Detroit was kind of on its last legs. They're just pushing through with Dan Campbell and just trying to fight on spirit. But the issue isn't. I don't think the issue is with the coaching. I think the issue is with the general manager, and that roster is just not good enough. So we agree on the Ravens. I said to wait though. I think the Bengals will take money early in the week. It's 6.5 right now. I think I can get a 6. Do you agree with me there?
Yeah, I could definitely see you getting a 6.5 there. Oh, you
No,
said
it's 6.5 right now.
You're looking for a flat 6? I
Yeah.
already see a flat 6 on FanDuel for them, so you'll
Okay.
definitely
Well,
see that 6 here soon.
yeah, I think so too. All right, next one, Panthers and Giants. I said I leaned towards the Panthers there, but I didn't really want to get involved. Did you see an angle in this game? It's Giants +3 right now. The total is 43.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird matchup. Probably give me Carolina, but if I had to pick one bet in this game, give me the under.
Oh, you like the
Two
under there?
bad
I was thinking the
quarterbacks.
over, but only because it's so low. It's sitting at 43 right now.
Yeah, that's my only worry there. It is pretty low, but I could see Darnold turning it over a few times. I could see Carolina's pass rush being all over Daniel Jones, and just no offense gets going on either side, really.
Yeah, I just worry with 2 turnover-prone quarterbacks that they just give away those free points,
short
right?
field
With turnovers
position.
in their own territory. But not enough to bet it. I'm just telling you what I lean. I definitely don't see an edge there. I think that's a pretty good number, right? Hey, if this game was 19-10, would you be surprised, right?
No, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So then what we were talking about right when you jump back on, and hey, the internet's doing great. So looks
That's what
like
I like to hear.
Comcast guy will be able to go home to his wife and kids, have a wonderful night, and hopefully enjoy the NBA rundown brought to you by, or the NFL rundown brought to you by Run for Your Bets. Washington football team +9.5. I was saying that the trouble with betting the Packers is that they kind of sleepwalk, but the problem is that they might be able to sleepwalk and cover the spread because the Redskins suck so bad in the secondary. What do you think about this 9.5 and the total of 49?
Give me the over here. I mean, I see 48.5.
Mm-hmm.
I just see Green Bay just lighting them up on offense, putting up at least 30 here.
Yeah.
And I could see Washington just putting up some garbage time points and getting on the board with at least like 17 here. So I love the over in this spot. But
Great.
as for
And then we don't have to get involved on that side.
as for the spread, give me Washington here.
Really?
Because if you look ahead on the schedule, short week for Green Bay, they have Arizona on deck on a Thursday night. This will look ahead spot.
Oh, you're using the look ahead, huh?
Yep.
All right. That's what I realized we don't do enough on this show, Tyler. We don't use look ahead enough, and we definitely don't use revenge enough. Fortunately, we'll have Mangone on the NBA rundown today, so we're going to get 15 revenge spots in only 2 games. But we need to start using those public narratives a little bit more there. So Tyler says the look ahead. He's grabbing the 9.5. I'm saying you're a brave man backing the football team. Let's go to see the Kansas City Chiefs, who finally covered, Tyler. They finally covered after they were actually behind at half. Great second half for the Chiefs and kind of what we expect, right? They're the other one. I said the Packers are kind of like an NBA team. Chiefs are kind of like an NBA team too, right? Where they just kind of mess around for 3 quarters and then put it away when it really matters there at the end. I kind of saw some of that. Now the Titans are catching 6 again, even after that win last night. Give me the Titans.
Yeah, give me the Titans.
If Buffalo can't stop Derrick Henry, what's he going to do to this team?
I mean, I guess they could see they lost what? Caleb Farley, their rookie corner last night to a torn ACL. Their corners were already short. Then the guy who stepped in for him got hurt. And I'm not sure the severity of that injury.
His name's Chris Jackson. He's out of, I can't remember what school I saw. Because at first I was like, is that Odori Jackson out of USC? And then I'm like, no, he's gone.
Yeah, he was
Chris
gone
Jackson.
already.
Yeah.
But if they're down him too, I mean, we're looking at practice squad.
Well,
corners.
Chris Jackson came back in last night.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their corners are still pretty bad. Kansas City
I
should
mean,
put up
aren't most
points.
corners pretty bad, though? If your
They
corners
are.
weren't good to begin with, does it really matter if they're hurt?
I mean, I guess so. But, I mean, sometimes, like, even, like, your second stringer, like, the drop-off to, like, your next guy could just be a falling off a cliff.
Yeah, and that's true. So,
But
obviously, that's going to be an
the way
issue.
you
But,
beat Kansas City is on the ground.
yeah, I
And
mean,
you have
it's
Derrick
just they're
Henry
set
coming
up.
in.
Even Todd Downey can't screw this up.
Yeah, you just give Derrick Henry the ball and just get out the way.
All right, so we agree. We're taking the Titans. Do I bet it now, though?
I think you can wait.
Because it's shaded. It's shaded the other
people
way.
will come to get the Chiefs.
All right. Well, I'm going to put half a unit down right now because I don't want to miss this number. And then, you know what I'm saying, I can get another half at 6.5 if it goes the other way, or just
Yeah, I got you.
Just add it in the other way. I don't know. I don't see a lot of people running, even though the Chiefs covered last week, right? I mean, I just don't see a lot of people running to back this Kansas City team that even with the win, that puts them, like 3-12 against the spread. Yeah, so Josh says, and Josh has been having some fun helping me in the chat when I get the names wrong. But he says the Titans defense is horrible, just like the Chiefs. You're basically hoping the Titans offense is better than the Chiefs. Or as good. I mean, because I'm getting the 6 points. So I'm not, if I was laying it, I would say that. But all I'm just saying is that they keep pace. And I mean, can't you see Kansas City just screwing around again? And they're a little beat up too.
I mean, that 56.5 is pretty high, but I think it goes over.
Yeah, I'm seeing at 57 already. So you gotta remember, bookmaker doesn't limit, and they don't boot you. So to me, they're the sharpest ones online. So when they get a move, usually the rest of the market's going to move that way
Titans team
a day or
total
two later.
25.5. I think that might be a better look.
Josh is saying Chiefs are getting all the early money. And what'd you say the Titans team total was?
25.5. I think they could put up 28 plus in this.
I think so too, because not only are the Chiefs, even if they score, they score quick. And they're not going to grind out a 6-minute drive, right?
And even if they maybe slow Henry down, it's going to come at the sacrifice of leaving receivers wide open for Tannehill to hit for touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Chiefs coming. I like taking the Titans here coming off the victory. I like the Chiefs having that nice victory too, because now maybe they get a little bit of that swagger back, maybe a little bit overrated. So we both like the Titans here. It's just, when do you bet it? Let's talk about a team that has lit me down over and over this season. The Miami Dolphins are hosting the Atlanta Falcons. The Dolphins are catching 2.5 at home. The Dolphins, what's weird is statistically they looked really good in that game, but they did it all in the first half. It was really a tale of two halves. And to see Urban Meyer make better adjustments at halftime than Brian Flores, like, what world am I in? Like, I should put Bailey's in my coffee, man. Yeah, it was terrible. So I don't know what to make of Miami. They're absolutely terrible. I'm trying to think. The Falcons had the bye coming off the London game, so their most recent game was their win in London over the New York Jets. So, okay, you beat the Jets. Whoop-de-doo. Tons of injuries for the Dolphins. Very true, Josh. As you know, we say, oh, we want to downgrade the Dolphins off that game. Well, they're missing Devontae Parker and Xavier Howard. And Xavier Howard is one of those game-breaking corners, right?
They were missing Byron Jones, too. So they had neither of their guys.
So do they have them this week? I mean, this is a game that we don't even bother predicting right now until we see that injury
I think we
tomorrow,
wait.
Right?
I think we wait and see.
All right, well, let's just speculate. Let's just assume that Howard and Jones are back and Parker's back. Let's just have some fun. That's like then would you take the Dolphins, or is this just...
give me the points there if they're back.
Yeah.
Because like Atlanta really doesn't have a running back that's going to punish you on the ground, to where like James Robinson did pretty well in that game.
Yeah, I like Robinson.
Their like strength is going to be throwing the ball. Like, Kyle Pitts could dominate Miami in this spot, but if them corners are in there, I don't see them getting any other production out of them receivers. And I think Tua could light up that defense.
Do you think that the Dolphins' defensive line can get pressure? Because that's the key to beating Atlanta in my mind.
I mean, they don't look like a great unit this year, but that Atlanta offensive line is not good.
Yeah, they're not getting pressure like they were last year, huh? I think that's why they're not getting their turnovers.
Yeah, that's definitely one reason why they're not getting their turnovers.
Like, half of them were when the quarterback was like getting hit, right? And then, like a linebacker or a safety just catches the bobble on the ball. All right, so let's wait for that one altogether. Total's 47.5, guys, but we got to wait for the injury report. Fortunately, we will be back Friday, and we'll revisit that game then. The New York Jets are catching 7. New York Jets +7, heading to New England to take on the Patriots, who are coming off another close loss, man. I mean, it's just weird, huh? We're used to seeing the Patriots squeak all these games out, right? Um, Belichick's got to be frustrated. Coaching staff has to be frustrated. But overall, if they didn't have the same expectations of any organization for, okay, we lost our franchise quarterback, we're building with the rookie, we're revamping this thing. I don't really think that they're doing that bad. Unfortunately, they're just not getting the wins. That being said, for a team that doesn't score, right? I mean, like the weakness of the team, I would say, is scoring. They move the ball in between the 20s. They put up good statistics. They just don't punch it in the end zone. Can you lay 7 with this team?
No, but one thing we can do,
Mm-hmm.
tease them down with Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Because looking at the board, I mean, I don't see any other favorites that we really want to tease them down with. And do we really want to go up with Tennessee? I don't think so. Yeah, because they can get blown out in that spot.
No, because because you only go through if you even if you even call 10 a key number, which I've heard people argue that 10 shouldn't be called a key number. I call it a key number in the new NFL. But the old school guys older than me, I'm pretty old. Ooh, Chick-fil-A. The old school guys, they wouldn't call it a key number. So I wouldn't take the Titans up. Let me just quick glance through. No, there's no one else. I would say maybe taking the Colts up on Sunday night.
Yeah,
I'm not taking the Seahawks up.
Yeah, I'm not taking the Seahawks up. Maybe I take the Dolphins up to 9.5. Get them up through the 6. Get them up through the 7 or 8.5. That's what it'd be, 8.
Yeah, I'm laying them off though. Let's wait on that. So I'm gonna put a 2-teamer in right now. I'm gonna put that 2-teamer in right now. So I took Baltimore, New England, and maybe I'll do a 3-teamer or like a more fun one on Friday when we know more. So okay, we're teasing them, but let's just say like for our Run Pure pool, are we actually gonna take the +7 though? This is a tough game. I think they lined this one really well.
No, I mean I'm laying the 7 here if anything.
So we're still not taking the Jets, right?
Rookie quarterbacks. We seen what he did to Zach Wilson the first time they played.
Yeah.
Now the game's in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just going to dominate them again. They'll win this game. I don't think the Jets get above 10 points.
So do you like the under in this game?
Give me like a 24-10 game. Yeah, I lean under.
I'll take the under 42. I'd actually probably rather do that than take a side.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
And I'll take the Jets team total under too.
Yeah,
and I'll go ahead and double
17.
down.
I'd go under there.
I think that's the best look. You know what? Screw the. I think you take both. If you only have one unit to play on the game, just split them. Half unit on the under, half unit on the team total under for the Jets.
I can see that.
So, all right, cool. That's fun. All right, got a teaser in here today. Our teaser last week hit. So, although I'm listening to the podcast today, seems like every teaser in the nation hit, and the books just got absolutely smashed. And I saw Dave Mason from Bet Online, another great offshore sports book. If you're offshore, tweeting that they just got beat up this weekend. Speaking of getting beat up, let's talk about the Detroit Lions, +14.5. They're heading to Los Angeles. If Mangone was here, he would tell us this is a Jared Goff revenge game. That's like, I don't know. I can't think of a funny analogy. Maybe by the end, I should have thought of one beforehand. But it's pretty ridiculous, the idea that Jared Goff's going to roll in there and get revenge. But he might be able to cover a 14.5-point spread. That is a pretty high number there for a total of 50.5. I don't know, Tyler. I hate betting these big spread games. Although, you know what's crazy is I always say that, and then you look, and a lot of them are like the easiest covers. Right, like the Rams last week were like, oh, I don't want to lay 10 or whatever they were laying, and they win by like 30-something. So,
listen, spread all the big favorites covered last week. Give me all the points in this game.
So you think it, but so that's the thing though. Does it come back in 1 week? Because I was listening to one with
every Joe Public better is going to be running to bet the Rams here, bet the Bucks, bet the Cardinals at all these big numbers after what they seen last week.
Yeah,
I bet you none of them cover.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do an underdog parlay there. Because I don't know if I want to get involved with a full unit on some of these terrible teams, right?
And plus, Detroit's pretty scrappy. I mean, even if the Rams go up, say 35-0 in this game, if they take their foot off the
Are
gas,
they still scrappy though? Did they kind of just get beaten to submission? Like there's only so many times you can hear rah rah and then go out and lose, right?
no, I mean, I think they're still scrappy. I mean, they were still fighting. They put that touchdown on the board, on the last drive of the game? So, I mean, up
Yeah, that's
against a
true.
tough
All right,
defense.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, they played a tough defense last week. I mean, the Rams is also a tough defense, but they may take their foot off the gas here. And I could definitely see that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I don't think there's really any ill will.
I can tell you
McVay
Cooper
and
Kupp's
Goff.
going to torch the secondary again.
I mean, what
There
secondary
ain't a
doesn't
corner
he
on that
torch?
team that can cover him.
Poor
If that
Fred.
yardage prop is under 85.5, you hammer the over.
I feel so bad for that coach because he's such a likable guy, and they might just have the worst roster. Like everyone says, Texans are worse. I think Detroit's worse. I'm just talking about their roster.
Yeah, probably. I mean, their defense is bad.
It's bad.
Their
It's
defense
bad.
is so bad.
Like there's players on the Texans that everyone watching they could pick out and put on their favorite teams.
Yeah.
And they would get some run.
Like Brandon Cooks would get run on any team other than the
right.
league.
Yeah, and on their defense, like they have like a bunch of like not good players, but at least like average players, so they could like plug the holes in your weakness. I don't think there's anyone from Detroit on my team, not at least from their defense. So, all right.
Yeah, I was trying to think of maybe if there was like a D lineman, maybe I wanted.
I mean, if we pulled up the rosters, we can find it, but we're 35 minutes in. We'll keep it moving. Philadelphia Eagles are +3 playing my Las Vegas Raiders, and I talked about it at the top of the show before you were on, Tyler. You know, maybe these Raiders were pretty excited to hear a new voice in that locker room, right? John Gruden's like, 60 years old, running like plays from like the very first Madden playbook, right? The old Tecmo Bowl playbook on once he gets a lead. So I didn't necessarily downgrade Denver as much. I felt they ran into a team in a great situation, and you guys knew that because I took the Raiders on the show last week, and that was one of my easy cashes, right? After getting beat up all morning, it was really, really enjoyable to sit back. I had some great snacks. I was with my buddies, yeah, and they just kept putting it on there. Now they're laying 3 against the Eagles team that I think they're really struggling from injuries. I don't want to say that they're a bad team, but I would say as hurt as they are right now, I think they are a bad team. Do we have any information on the injury report, mainly the Eagles' offensive line, that could sway me? Because if those guys are missing, I'm laying the 3 easily. If they're all back, I'm staying away from it.
I know Lane Johnson's back.
Yeah, I saw that he's back. Okay.
I think they got one guy back last week. What was the former rugby player's name? Maliapa or something like that?
I say it wrong. I always say Maliata, but
yeah.
I do the shows with Nadeau, and he just says it right. And
I don't even try the names. I don't even try.
Yeah, he knows it because he hears it in Philadelphia every day. So yeah, I call him Maliata. I'm saying it wrong, but whatever. All that matters is whether or not he's in. So if both of those are in, I say this is. I mean, I would still like the Raiders here, but I think it's a stay away. I don't think it's worth the unit with all the other opportunities we have on the board. Not to mention, I see it at -118, which means my guess is it'll be a 3.5 by tomorrow.
Yeah.
What do you think here? Obviously, I'm a little emotional, so especially with the Raiders. With the Kings, it's so easy for me to fade them. But for the Raiders, I do get emotional and not always clear. So that's another reason I'll stay away from the games. Unbiased observer, what do you think about the Raiders laying 3 here against the Eagles?
I think it's a smash ball for the Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, okay, cool.
Even if their offensive line is like fully back, like it's going to be their first week back together. Do we think they're going to build that brick wall in front of them? Probably not. Max Crosby and them guys are going to be in that backfield chasing Hurts around.
Yeah.
It almost looked like they started to use some of these weapons on the offense that Gruden wouldn't. So I could see their offense just opening it up here against Philly. Give me that over 49 too, because I think both teams put up some points. But I think the Raiders win this one by at least a touchdown.
All right, cool. Then we'll lay it with the Raiders there. I'll join you, Tyler, because this is the way I was leaning. I just didn't want to be a homer because it was so fun to actually see the team play well, especially after the loss to Chicago. And I'm thinking that Gruden's going to be there, right? Because it just seemed like he apologized. It was one email, one stupid thing. Or you can say, oh, I got mad, one time. Okay. That's like one time, right? But when it's happening over a bunch of years, it's a little different. Now you got to go. And it, to me, as a fan, it almost like gave me life because I wasn't happy with Gruden even when he got signed. in 2018. I was like, this guy's way past it. He won with Dungy's guys. His record when it was his guys wasn't that good, right?
That sounds like a coach I know. Spread.
Who?
Other than the record not being that good, I mean, somebody won a Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's players, and he gets a lot of credit for it.
You got to be kidding me! I was thinking you were saying that. No way! Absolutely no way!
Other than having the winning record, I mean,
okay. Let's compare. Antonio Brown's production under John Gruden, Antonio Brown's production under Mike Tomlin. Who's the better leader of men?
I mean, I still call the whole AB thing just a razzle. He was trying to get to New England in the first place.
Yeah.
Knew Pittsburgh wouldn't trade him there. Mm-hmm. He took a pit stop and was like, I'm going to drive my way out of here like Randy Moss did. And he did that same exact thing.
I'm just saying, John Gruden lost every season as the Raiders coach, losing record every year. Tomlin's never had a losing record. I don't think you can compare them.
I don't think Tomlin's I think he's a good, quote unquote, locker room guy. Uh-huh. But as a coach, I just don't see it.
Okay, here's where I think that a lot of people get down on Tomlin. And I think that it's fair. And it's because it's what we see. And I go back and forth with a lot of the guys that I talk to about, the NFL, especially for my tennis and my NBA chat when we cross over to NFL. I feel that sometimes, because it's what we see, the game decisions is all we judge a coach on, right? Like, for example, Anthony Lynn, Jay and I were different on that because we both agreed that his game management was terrible. But I felt
Lamar
that he did a good job developing
his player. Makes a good point. His teams are awful in the postseason. Now, think about what you said about AB and him controlling that. Mm-hmm. What if his team was just so damn talented for so long that he could just stand on the sideline and be like, I'll get through the regular season. These guys will win the games based off talent. Mm-hmm. But then once the playoffs hit and it's like, oh, we actually got to draw stuff up because now coaching matters. Mm-hmm. They always lost. They always ran into a Patriots team. They always ran into a weird team that always got them. I think that's where he kind of falls off.
I'd agree with you. And if I'm the Pittsburgh front office, you know what I would do then? I'd keep Tomlin there. I would try and bring in a young, dynamic OC and DC. And just say, hey, you run the team, you develop the guys, you hold these guys accountable because he does it better than anybody in the league. But hey, let's not run these 1990 John Gruden schemes anymore, right? I agree with you on that.
You need a young quarterback to run the young scheme. You can't have.
You need these kids that have played Madden.
Offense.
Everyone wants to bag on video games. I want a kid that played Madden, right? They manage the clock better. They understand, yards per attempt better. They understand you don't just automatically run on 2nd and 10.
Yeah, okay? But then we have strong safeties playing middle linebacker all game.
And they're just cheesing. They're just cheesing out routes all game. All right,
run this blitz. It'll just work every time.
All right. I'm glad we don't have a full slate today, Tyler. We're having a lot of fun. I don't know how we started talking about John Madden football on EA Sports. It's in the game. Let's go to Chicago Bears plus 12.5 at Tampa Bay. Tyler, is this another one of your teams that you think covers the ridiculous spread, man? I don't think I can take the Bears, man.
I mean, of all these big spreads this week, this would probably be the only one I'd maybe lay. But
yeah,
my worry here is, I could see Tampa we've seen it before. They take their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
I mean, you maybe don't consider this much of a look-ahead spot. Division rival Saints are on board.
I mean, has Brady ever looked ahead in his life?
I don't think so.
I mean, that guy's really. That guy's getting amped up for Wednesday practice to beat the practice squad right now. Yeah, he's fired up about it.
We've seen him we've seen him last week on Thursday night. They came out in the first 2 drives. They looked like they could have scored 80 points that night. They were going right up and down the field, and it was almost like they hurried up and put it into neutral, and they were like, we're just going to coast the rest of the way. So
that's fair.
I could see them flooring Chicago in, say, the first half and just
So how about we just bet the first half then?
I don't hate that. And then they just coast the rest of the way.
All right, that's our look on that game then, because I'm not taking the Bears. I agree with you on some of these dogs coming back, the return of the dogs.
That seems like a low. Well, let me see what we can get their team total at. It's at 30.
Because it's 47.5. That means it'd be what?
It's 30. So, I mean, I could definitely see 30 to 31 in the spot.
30 to 18 is what they expect?
Yep.
Nah, let's just take the first half. Unless it's 7.5.
I see a flat 7.
I'll lay the 7 because if we push it, we push it.
Yeah, I'd rather get the 6.5 though.
I don't think we're going to, though. There's no way. There's no way that the Bears take. I don't know. I guess Bears first half could take money. I guess it could. All right, we'll take the first half in that Buccaneers game, and we're not going to talk about how we would play these teams on John Madden football. Houston Texans plus 18. I think that moved while we're doing the show, Tyler. I think it was 18.5 earlier. Now it's 18. I don't know. Maybe I mislooked. Arizona Cardinals minus 18. Are you taking the Texans?
Give me the Texans here.
Wow.
We talked about the Green Bay game, and we were taking Washington. Is that a look-ahead spot? Mm-hmm. Here's the other team in that game that's a look-ahead spot. It's going to be a short week. They play them on Thursday night. Mm-hmm. You got to think they're more.
Who do they play on Thursday?
Green Bay.
Thursday.
Green Bay is an NFC, not a rival, but that is an NFC team that they're going to look at and be like, that could be a team we see in the playoffs.
That definitely could.
You want the win now, so they have to come to Arizona. Even though you're undefeated, you beat them. You pretty much don't have to worry about them coming or you going to Lambeau if that happens in the playoffs. So I think they're looking ahead. Give me Houston here. I think this could look similar to that Jaguars game where they sleptwalked through like the first half and then they snuck it out in the second half.
Okay. Well, that's brave taking the Texans because I remember when they were plus 19 against Buffalo, they lost 40-0. Is Tyrod Taylor ever going to come back, or Tyrod Taylor ever going to come back?
I mean, I'm not sure. They might just leave.
Do you think they're just holding him out now, right? Like, just like, you know what, we're going to get this pick anyways. We need to rebuild this thing.
Yeah, they're just, well, do they have their pick this year?
Did they trade it away?
Wait, was it a part of the Tunsil deal before, or I'm not sure.
I think that's over, right? That Tunsil deal was a couple years ago, right? Tunsil's been on there since like 2019.
Yeah, they should have their pick this year. But I mean, looking back at this game
that would be terrible
Jags,
if they didn't.
For the Cardinals, they beat them 31-19. So that 17.5 would have covered, and they went into halftime.
And if you watch that game,
13-7.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me all 17 and a half of those points in this game.
I got 18, and I think it goes to 18.5. I don't think that anybody's taking Arizona. I mean, I don't think anybody besides you is taking the Texans here. So I say you wait on that one, Tyler, if you're going to take the Texans. The Colts are catching 3 against the Niners. Give me the 49ers coming off a bye. I don't really have much on this. I mean, I can't believe this line isn't 5 or 6.
Give me 1 second. I'll pull up the numbers of them off a bye in like the last couple years.
Oh, is Kyle Shanahan a little mini Andy Reid?
It's literally like, I think it's the best in the league.
It's better than Andy Reid off the bye?
I remember we hit this spot last year, or was it? No, it was 2 years ago. They were coming off the bye. They were playing Green Bay. Green Bay looked like the powerhouse team. Everyone was lining up to bet them, and then San Fran blanked them in that game, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
give me San Fran in this spot. Let's see.
All right, while he looks that up, I'll just give you guys hold on. I don't want the Carolina Giants game. Hold on. Yeah, that'll be I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't buy the Colts. I wasn't really that impressed with their win, although I did go against them, so maybe I was just pissed off. Niners 1-4 against the spread this year. Colts 4-2 so far. 31-3 over Houston. I don't know. I mean, I guess they look good. That's definitely their best game of the year. And then, of course, San Francisco, 3 losses in a row. They lost to Green Bay 30-28, Seattle 28-21, and then to Arizona. So 3 losses. They were all close, all against good teams. Did you find it, Tyler?
Yeah, 4-1 since 2018. So
all right, we're doing it. We're both on the Niners. The only question is, do we bet this now?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, I think we do too.
Any quarterback news for San Fran, I think, drives that number up a bit. So give me it now.
Yeah. All right. So we have the 49ers for Sunday night. And, of course, we will talk about Monday Night Football next Monday on the NFL Rundown, the review edition where I get to ask Max Kellerman-like questions to Tyler and Titletown. So, Tyler, you missed a little bit of it. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we didn't touch on today?
No, I mean, I think we got through most of it. I got that prop out in the Thursday night game I wanted to get out.
That was great.
They said in the chat Nick Chubb and Hunter out for Thursday, so
yeah, we knew
it'll be an interesting game. Maybe we'll find some anytime touchdowns on some of these Cleveland guys. That's at a nice price.
I'm Donovan Peoples-Jones, Michigan alumni.
Plus 270.
Yeah.
Anthony Schwartz plus
He's going to be the number 1, right?
Yeah, he should be the number 1. Well, they might have Jarvis Landry back because I know he was supposed to be activated off the IR this past week.
If Jarvis Landry comes back, I might flip my team. I might flip my pick.
Yeah, I could see that because he might just dink and dunk to him the whole game.
Because he's the perfect receiver for Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
And if they're not going to be able to run the ball, I mean, let's not say they're not going to be able to, because hey, even with those tackles out, that line's still not bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, Lamar Jackson definitely disagrees. He says he wants to bet Cleveland not to score, Cleveland to get shut out. Do you have that prop, Tyler?
I don't think so.
I'm sure you can find.
You could probably find it somewhere.
What do you think they would line it at?
total.
Between +4 and +500? I can't imagine them putting it that high.
I mean, their team total is 22.5.
Yeah.
So if you can find like an alternate team total under half a point, it's got to be at least like plus 1,500.
Do you think it's that high?
It's got to be.
Well, we'll look on that, and I'll look for that on the live show on Thursday, Lamar Jackson. So that is it for us. Obviously, the shorter schedule. Tyler bouncing in and out here, but he got in here in time to give us the winners, and we definitely appreciate that. So, Tyler, busy day for us today. We're going to be back in what? 90 minutes?
Yep.
Yeah, 90 minutes. We'll be back. 3:30 Eastern, we start the NBA rundown. Just so it's the schedule for the rest of the week, NBA rundown will be at 3:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday. The live show for Thursday Night Football will be on 8:15 Eastern or 8 o'clock, right around there. But right before kick, we'll be on there. I'll be the live show, and I'll be jumping on to handicap the NBA games that night. Tyler and I will be back on Friday to do the props, and that's always a fun show. That's a can't miss. You know, my buddy that I went to on Sunday, Tyler, he loves that prop show. Of all my shows, he said that's the only one he watches, like, for sure. You know, if he can, he watches as many as he can. But he says, you know, that's the can't miss one. He loves your props, and you know, he just keeps winning with them. So we definitely appreciate that. Tyler Hardwired, we'll throw that on there, and so we'll be back for the NBA rundown. But you know what you should do, so you don't have to listen to me talk about it, is just subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified whenever we go live. So at 3:30 Eastern, you're going to get notified again that we will be live for the NBA rundown. At 8:15 Eastern on Thursday night, you're going to get notified again because we're going live for the Thursday night football game. So please hit that bell. And while you're out there, give us a like so we can keep coming back and bringing you all these winners. Tyler, thank you for hanging out today, and I'm sure I'll talk to you real soon. Thank you for hanging out.